Yes, people. How are we all doing? Welcome one, welcome all to the daily news roundup for Liverpool. It was a day of an announcement. Twitter's been ropey in the past couple of days, but there was no rate, whatever it was. We got our announcement. Dominik Szoboszlai is a red, and it feels good. It feels good. Not only was Dominik Szoboszlai announced, we got news from Fabrizio about what our next transfer is going to be. And it's something that I need to discuss with people because I've had an opinion today, which has caused a bit of a stir amongst certain parts of the community. And I'm here to defend my opinion. I'm here to defend my shout. But before we get into this, if you're new here, not already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. We hit 500 subscribers yesterday, so thank you all very, very much for the support. Road to 1,000 by the end of the year. You heard it here first. But let's get into these comments. Big up Strunk, Vigo, Tom Little, my guy. We're coming for Hassam. Big up yourself, Yavaj. I heard you would sell Thiago for Lavia and Thuram. Thiago is still our best midfielder, and plus, he will not be used as much next season. We will manage his minutes. That's something that I have to talk about because that is a misconception. You should be on Redmond's show right now. Big up James Redmond, by the way. Top quality creator. Took a while to pronounce Szoboszlai, but finally got it right. I watched a fair few tutorials, I'll tell you that much. I would sacrifice a defender for Thuram, Lavia, McAllister, and Szoboszlai. I'll get a centre back in January. That's another thing that we might discuss in the stream, how we'd go about it. But yeah, I was enjoying Twitter being down, to be honest, seeing these Herberts cry with their fake ticks and followers. Anyway, first things first, let me just make sure that I've got the piece up here. Got to go to the official Liverpool website. Don't really visit this one much, but it's a special occasion. Let's get this up and running. Share screen, window, bang, and bang. There you go. Today it was announced that Liverpool did complete the signing of Dominik Szoboszlai from RB Leipzig. Look at the beautiful man. Look at that face. Look at that smile. That's a smile of someone who's going to get 10 goals in a Premier League season. That. Look at that. Anyway, complete the signing, subject to a work permit. He becomes the second new transfer this season, following the footsteps of Alexis McAllister, who, like I said yesterday, I think that transfer is still going under the radar. A real top pickup that I hope, he gets more hype around him again once pre-season starts because he deserves it. He arrives after 2.5 years in the Bundesliga with Leipzig, where he made 91 appearances in all competitions. Good stuff. His first interview, it's really good. I enjoyed the last few days. I'm looking forward to knowing everyone better. The last 3 or 4 days went really long. It was not that easy, but at the end, I'm here, I'm happy, and I can't wait to get started. It's a really historic club, really good players, good coach, everything is good. For me, it was perfect to make the next step in a club like this. The fans, the stadium, everything is really good. Lovely little press answers, made me all feel happy. He's a product of RB Salzburg. Had a good start there. They're going through what he's done. He's won 2 DFB Pokals. He's the Hungary national team captain. It's just a perfect pickup. It is a perfect pickup. Look at that smile, man. Look at that face. Look at that. But I, for one, I'm really happy we got it over the line. Obviously, we all knew it was sort of done yesterday, but to get it hits better when you got the official announcement. It's now just looking forward to where he's going to play, how he's going to play in the system, who's going to be partnering him. There's a lot to look forward to. Pre-season, I'm very excited for pre-season now. I'm very excited to see him in the team in pre-season. Very excited to see what we do. But like we were saying yesterday, it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there for us. Szoboszlai should be 2 of 4 for me. But if you want to say 2 of 3, that is fine. But we all agree we need another midfielder after Szoboszlai. Only an hour. It was literally only an hour after Dominik was announced, we got the first piece of news from Ben Jacobs about Romeo Lavia. Liverpool seriously exploring Romeo Lavia. Southampton value Lavia at around 50 million, but Liverpool feel a lower fee could be possible. Arsenal not advancing on Lavia yet, but he's also on their radar. Chelsea focused on Moises Caicedo for now, still sold circa 20. Yeah. We don't care about Moises Caicedo. He's not Romeo Lavia. Romeo Lavia is apparently speeding up. Apparently, there's a lot of that move is picking up pace, and that move could be completed by the end of the week. I, for one, am a big fan of Romeo Lavia. I watched Southampton a fair bit last season, mainly for Sekou Mara. I can't lie. I done an FM save a couple of years ago with Bordeaux. Sekou Mara was brilliant as a youngster who I developed. I wanted to see how he'd get on. He was awful, but this lad, Romeo Lavia, was not. He ran games in the Premier League, and his midfield wasn't really great. James Ward-Prowse, Ibrahima Diallo, Alcaraz was all right, but he never really had a good partner, and yet he was still able to run midfield. Fantastic against Arsenal at the Emirates. Fantastic across both games against Chelsea. He had a number of fantastic performances. He's got a couple of injury worries. That is one thing I will say. And it's one thing I don't think has been discussed so far. Romeo Lavia does have a couple of injury worries. He went off a fair few times with injuries last season. If I just go grab his injury history, you can tell I'm not prepared. Normally I'd have all this stuff ready and ready to go, but I am not a professional. Injury history, there we go. So this one only has the major injury that he picked up. Obviously, Romeo Lavia picked up I think it was at the start of the season, yeah. I think it was second or third game, he went down with a hamstring injury against, was it Manchester City? I think it was Manchester City or something. Went down, missed 8 games. He went down in a couple of other games. I think he missed another 2 after this. But there's a little bit of cause for concern about the injuries because we've had our fair share of injury-prone midfielders, but he's someone that I have a lot of faith in. But we got that news with Romeo Lavia. The Anfield Talk, brilliant page. If you don't follow them already, what are you doing? Get on following them. Top people. They obviously revealed to people who didn't already know that Lavia doesn't need to be registered. Obviously, there's a whole thing going on at the minute about our homegrown thing, our registration issues. Romeo Lavia would not need to be registered. Romeo Lavia is under 21, and by the time he does have to be registered, he qualifies as homegrown because he's been in England 3 years. He's actually been in England 3 years this year, so he's technically homegrown already. And then they dropped an exclusive from Sasha Tavalieri. We're expecting to make an offer for Romeo Lavia in the next weeks. Now, for me, I just think that's the next week. I think in the next week, an offer's going in for Romeo Lavia, not next week's. Because you've got to think pre-season starting soon. I think next week is when the offer for Lavia will go in. Jurgen Klopp Lovesman has told Lavia and his entourage that he wants the Belgian Red Devils to be part of their project for the 23-24 season. Then there's if you know me and all of my stats, I love my stats. And you look at, this is Premier League midfielders, best at ball retaining. KDB, awful at ball retaining. Andres Pereira, awful at ball retaining. We'll ignore the 2 names at the bottom there. Not great. Really not great. Curtis Jones, very good at recovering, but not really getting the passes out there. McAllister, really settled spot to be in. But Romeo Lavia, if you were to do a line from the bottom corner straight through, Lavia is just over the line. And I mean, he's so very nearly perfectly balanced. And for 19 years of age, that is incredible to have. That is incredible to have. He compares with the likes of Caicedo, who's going to go for 100 million. Partey was regarded as one of the best DMs last season. Rodri, who was the best DM last season. Declan Rice, who's going for 105 million. And Idrissa Gana Gueye, who I don't even know why he's there, but hey-ho. So that gives me more confidence. Then Fabrizio got involved and revealed that Liverpool are in the race for Romeo Lavia since Monday, and no changes despite Szoboszlai and McAllister joining. Liverpool remain keen on signing Lavia. He's still on the list with Thuram. Arsenal still very interested, but defends on Partey exit. Southampton want £50 million fee. And then, did we get one more? No, we didn't. That was where it ended. Bit of a mad day for transfer news. So let's get through these comments first before I carry on, because I've left the lovely people waiting. Where are we up to? We're up to here. Big ups Mickham. McAllister, Szoboszlai, we're finally getting somewhat. Big up Tom and everyone. Big up yourself, Mickham. I forgot. Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you, Raj. He kind of looks like you with facial hair and a tan. Szoboszlai looks like me with facial hair and a tan. I can see it. You know what, Drunk? I can see it. 19 and not a day out for Navi. What is this? So hyped for the signing. That is what you call a statement signing, and I hope we get Lavia and Thuram. Both I never thought we could. Both I never thought we would be considering getting 4 midfielders. FSG are actually spending. I might do a stream later on in the week to explain where the money's coming from, because I'll spoiler alert: FSG aren't spending. If you get me. Big at yourself, Cameron. Big at yourself, Revenite. Apparently, Hassam has Lavia's friend has contacted me. Has told Hassam he wants Liverpool over Arsenal, and it's a real possibility we get him. I know who Hassam's got on about. It is real. Mac and Szoboszlai for 95 million. Good deal. 2 youngsters, but both with some experience. Szoboszlai is 22. McAllister's 24. One of them's won a World Cup. One of them's won 2 domestic cups. You know, these players, they have the experience. They know how to win at this level, which is I'm buzzing about. These are the signings that we need to be making. These are typical Liverpool targets. If we get Lavia, Thuram, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and a centre-back in January, do you think we can win the league, or at least challenge some things we win the league if we get them all in? I think if you get all 5 in, we might win the league. I'm very much in the pessimistic camp. I don't think we win the league next year with 4 midfielders, and I'm okay with that. I've said from the start, from the get-go, my expectations next year are a Europa League win, an FA Cup win, and a challenge for the title, but you don't need to win it. If you're able to get me McAllister, Szoboszlai, Thuram, Lavia, and Colwill, I'm just going to throw a name out there, a centre-back for between 40 to 60 like a Colwill, we can win the league. 100% we can, because you've addressed every single issue perfectly. Every single issue perfectly you've addressed. I get excited when I think about that. Get excited. Elliot and Hendo with his... I think Lavia will be a class sign with Thuram, McAllister, Szoboszlai, 100%. 100%. I like to think I'm one of the first ones who was on the train of let's get 4 in. Let's go get all 4 in. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about who would you get out of Lavia and Thuram. I would like to think I was one of the first people in the space to go, I want all 4 in. Because it completes your midfield rebuild. We know what it's like when you leave a midfield rebuild. It goes on, it gets worse, and it gets worse, and you end up in a situation like we are in now, where you need to go get in 3 or 4. If we get all 4 now, that midfield does not need to be touched for 4 years. You can add youngsters in there. You can add little bit pieces that cost 15 to 20 and give them all the time in the world. That's the situation we want to be in, and that's what we can do if we nail it this summer in the market for midfielders, which is why I'm so big on the idea of getting all 4 in. I'd love for us to sign Thuram and Lavia, hopefully. It'll be a real statement. It'll be a real statement. So Fabrizio Romano is saying we are targeting Thuram and Lavia. Apparently so. They're both on the list, whatever the list means. They're both on the list. I think we don't win the Europa League. It's great, 100%. Look, we have to win the Europa League. We have to win the Europa League. I go into every single Champions League season expecting us to do well. Semi-finals, final, because this is what Liverpool is built on, European heritage, and that is me going up against the best clubs in Europe year in, year out. Your Real Madrids, your Barcelonas, your Bayern Munich, your Manchester Cities, your PSGs. They're what we're up against year in, year out. Your Inter Milan, your Juventus, all that. And I expect us to go far. We're going into the Europa League where instead of Real Madrid, we've got Roma. Instead of Juventus, we've got West Ham. Instead of Bayern, we've got Brighton. We should be winning. We should be having an absolute cakewalk through that tournament. And we clown rival fans. We have done. United fans, Arsenal fans, Tottenham fans. When they've been in that competition and they've went out, we've got on their neck. How are you getting knocked out of the Europa League? That's a joke. That's a this. That's a that. If we do it, we look like the idiots. We look like the fools. We can win that competition next year, and we don't even need to start our starters week in, week out. Our depth is good enough until the quarters. 100% it is. 100 million % it can be. Think of it this way. We could technically go into Europa League next year. Kelleher, Gomez, Van Dijk, Tsimikas. Who are we going for the 4? Bajcetic, Thuram, Lavia, Thiago, Jones. One of Thiago Jones can play. Front three-wise, you're going Elliot, you're going Diaz, you're going Nunes, you've got Josh who can come in if he's got injuries. The team you can field in that Europa League is a joke how good it is. Is a joke how good it is. And that's not starting Salah. That's not starting like a Fabinho. That's not starting like a Gakpo. That's not starting Alisson. That's not starting a Szoboszlai. That's not starting a McAllister. That's with your second stringers, bar 1 or 2. We could keep Matip. Matip could go in there. This is what you got to consider. We have the squad for that Europa League next year. And if we don't win it, I'll be very, very disappointed. I'll be very, very disappointed because we should be winning that competition. 100%. 100%. Finally know who've bought with Henderson. I'm intrigued to see. Honestly, I'm intrigued to see what role Henderson has next year. I really, really am, because he's not gonna not play, but how much he does play, that intrigues me because I don't know how much he's actually going to play. I think we should be winning the league the season after next because Man City will drop off that season. 100%. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt for next season if we don't get all 5 in. If we don't get all 5 in, I'm not demanding a league title. I'm not. But the year after, once Szoboszlai's had a year to develop and adapt, McAllister had a year to develop and adapt, Thuram had a year to develop and adapt, Lavia had a year to develop and adapt, you bring in your centre-backs, you sort out all your issues, you have to be going for the title then. You simply have to be going for the title then. Big up yourself, Steve. Where do you get your kits from? China. I do not fund FSG. We do not need a midfielder in the next summer. That is your future for the next 5-7 years. I heard you. Yep, that's exactly it. I heard a lot about Lavia on Arsenal Man United's YouTube channel. We talk about Lavia. He can go to any. The thing is, Steve, it looks like we're in the lead now. It looks like we're leading the race, which is a big thing for us. Because when we've led races this summer, we very rarely conceded in the races. We very rarely conceded in the races that we're winning. Europa League should be a comfortable competition to win, 100%. And would you tell me want to win every trophy, Carabao and Europa included? It annoys me when fans Shelley pick the big ones. Yes, obviously they are more important, but we go for them all, 100%. Revenite, love that mentality. I see some Arsenal fans saying Arsenal are more attractive than Liverpool, but then Lavia basically rejects Arsenal for Liverpool. Arsenal are a very attractive proposition, 100% they are. Who is more attractive is a completely subjective thing. Lavia might not be choosing Arsenal because it's a harder path into that team. In the same way that, let's say, let's say Vlahovic was on the market. Vlahovic would choose Arsenal over us because it's easy to usurp Jesus than it will be to usurp Jota and Gakpo and Nunes. His competition at Arsenal will be Jesus and Nketiah. That's easy. These are all the things. I think the pull is very similar, to be honest. I think we have an edge, but I think it's very similar. Don't forget, we're still not home yet. 2 severe injuries on the wrong players. We're back to where we started. We probably need at least 2 more, if not 3. This is the thing. 2 severe injuries fuck up any team. If Man City lose Haaland and De Bruyne to season-ending injuries, they're all of a sudden in the shit. We lose Salah and Van Dijk to season-ending injuries, we're suddenly in the shit. It happened. That's a concern for every team, but you just got to hope that doesn't happen. You can't prepare for every worst-case scenario. I think Arsenal are very attractive right now. 100% they are. I'm done with fans talking shite about the Europa League and Conference League, even when their clubs crash out both competitions. Any European trophy is a big trophy. That's how I've always thought of it. Any European trophy is a big trophy, and I want to win when we're in Europe. Every single time. Every single time. My starting 11 in the Europa League group stage is Kelleher, Conor Bradley, Joel Matip, Joe Gomez, Kostas Tsimikas, Romeo Lavia, Curtis Jones, Henderson, Elliott, Nunes, and Jota. Again, you're not playing any starters there, and that's a strong side for the Europa League. That's a strong side for Dnipro 1. By late August, when transfers done, I can decide or think where Liverpool will finish. I won't say anything until all that's done. They will do better than last year and finish higher than last year. 100% we will. This squad looks better now already. Is Lavia any good? I don't know much about him. Romeo Lavia is one of the best young DMs in the world. Romeo Lavia has the potential to become the best DM in the league. 100% he does. 1,000,000% he does. 1,000,000% he does. This is a player who Pep Guardiola himself. It's not like the Man City scouting team. This is a big thing with Lavia. The Manchester City scouting team didn't identify Romeo Lavia. Pep Guardiola himself identified Romeo Lavia from a scouting mission that he done. An individual scouting mission that he done, he identified Romeo Lavia. Romeo Lavia spent 3 years at Manchester City's youth setup. He was one of their best players. He then went to Southampton. First big move to Southampton, playing regular football, week in, week out, in the Premier League, the toughest league in the world, and he didn't look out of place. He ran games against some of the best midfielders in the league. And now we could get him to work alongside Fabinho, work under Fabinho, learn off Fabinho. There's so much potential. I'm so big on this potential Romeo Lavia move. You would not believe it. You would not believe it. Arsenal can't be underestimated. Young and hungry squad, and the revenge feeling is going to be a huge motivator this season. Yes and no. I think the revenge factor is either going to come off and work really well, or it's going to crash and burn like you wouldn't believe. Because revenge worked for us because we won. We lost out in the Champions League, and that squad won the Champions League the year after. If we lost the Champions League that year on top of the Premier League, I think it's a vastly different thing. I think the momentum and the feeling within the squad is just desolation, disappointments. It's hard to bounce back. Arsenal haven't had a big win. Arsenal are built on disappointments after disappointments after disappointments under Mikel Arteta. Whether they like it or not, they are. Europa League, finishing 5th, and then finishing 2nd. But in the ways they finished there, it's disappointing for them. 20 likes. 20 likes, that's brilliant, people. Let's go have a little look at the old like total now. And if you're new and you're not already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on so you don't miss the daily streams. I think we'll know if Liverpool are in the title race in the first 10 games. If we have 8 wins and 1 loss and 1 draw, we'll be in the title race. Liverpool could go unbeaten in the first 10. 100% they could, because I don't think we play City in the first 10. The City game, where we are before the City game, will decide it for me. If we are there or thereabouts with Manchester City, then we 100% can win this title. 100% can. Because it's the confidence boost and it's the momentum that you build. If we laugh at United and Arsenal in the Europa League, we need to win it. Simple as, no excuse not to win it. Exactly. Do you reckon Henderson starts first game of next season? No. Do you want to know why? Because we've got a full pre-season. So, if we'd signed Szoboszlai with 2 to 3 weeks to go before the start of the season, yes, Henderson will probably start because he's played the position, he knows it. But Szoboszlai has a full month of pre-season. He'll be fine. He'll be completely fine. We have a choice of 3 midfielders and 1 centre-back, or 4 midfielders and go for a centre-back in Jan. The 4 midfielders, just to me, feels like you're completing it in one window. With this scenario, your 3 midfielders and 1 centre-back, or 4 midfielders and a centre-back in Jan, the way I see it, you go 4 midfielders, your midfielders sorted for 5 years, your focus the next window is solely on centre-backs. You get 3 midfielders and a centre-back, you then have to readdress both of those positions in the market the next summer. So your focus is split 2 ways. You can't focus on just nailing what you wanted. That's why I'm so passionate behind getting 4 centre mids in now and gambling for 6 months on Robertson being good enough, on Gomez being good enough, on Tsimikas being good enough, on Van den Berg being good enough to get me through games, against Luton, to get me through games against like a who else is down at Forest. They should be good enough to do that. Colwell to top this window off, that would be the dream. Levi Colwell is an absolute dream signing. Ticks all the boxes. To be fair, I remember Klopp started the elite first 4 games before he got injured, so I expect Szoboszlai to start 100%. If you're good enough, you play. That's how Klopp's always been. That is how Klopp has always been with it. If Henderson starts first game of the season, I'll be fuming, but he will not. Fingers crossed. Sell Thiago and sign Lavia and Thuram. This is the thing that has angered a lot of people today. I am very much in this camp. And it is not because I don't think Thiago is a good player. Thiago Alcantara is an absolutely incredible player. Let me just say it one more time. Thiago Alcantara is an absolutely incredible player. I'm just done with it. I'm done with it. He's given me some of the best performances I've seen from Liverpool midfielders, but I'm done with it because the injuries just keep happening at big moments. And I'm sick and tired of it. If I can nail my midfield right here, right now, I'm nailing my midfield right here, right now, because it's been a problem position for 4 years. And So you want Henderson but not Thiago? No. If you were to let me keep one of them, I'm keeping Thiago. The difference is, Paul, to sell a player, clubs actually have to want to buy the player. Thiago is a commodity in the market. Saudi Arabia will be lapping up Thiago Alcantara. What club wants Jordan Henderson? What club is willing to pay for Jordan Henderson? That's the issue. I would sell Henderson before I sell Thiago, but I will not be able to sell Henderson because no club wants to buy Henderson. That's the issue. That is the constant recurring issue. So if Thiago will have suitors this window, Fabinho will have suitors this window. Out with them two, I'm selling Thiago. He's going into the last year of his deal. He's not going to get a new one. He constantly has injury problems. And this belief that, we can treat him as a luxury player for once. A luxury player? Like what? He's been a luxury player his entire career. This idea that, we've used him wrong, that's why he's only ever really got 30 games. Thiago Alcantara has completed 30 league games once. The man has had a 12-year career, and he's completed 30 games in the league once. He's completed 30 games in a season like 5 times. He just gets injured before key moments, and even if we were trying to use him as a luxury player, what if he gets injured in training? And let's say he doesn't get injured in training, then the idea that you just use him in the big games, to me, is stupid. Because we're not going to be playing big games every 2-3 weeks because we're not in the Champions League. Having a luxury player works better in the Champions League because every 2 to 3 weeks, you've got a big game. You've got City, then 2 weeks later, you've got Napoli. Then 2 weeks later, you've got Chelsea. Then 2 weeks later, you've got Ajax. Big games, big European games. If we're in the Europa League, I'm not wheeling Thiago out for Enes Miura. I'm not wheeling him out for Göztepe from Turkey. I'm not doing it. So then, I'm looking at going, right, so we went on for the big 6 games. So we've got Manchester City, then a month, and then we've got Chelsea, and then another month, and then we've got Tottenham and Arsenal back-to-back, and then it's a month and a half. If Thiago is playing one start a month, he's not going to be sharp enough. Other midfielders will be in better form. Other midfielders will be better suited for the games. This is the difference. This is why I'm willing to let him go. Because this idea that we can use him as a luxury player, it's going to limit other players' development. And it's not going to work as well as people think. Because this isn't career mode. Players get unhappy when they're not playing. And players lose sharpness. This is why I'm debating letting him go. But like I said, it's only if you guarantee I get both Thuram and Lavia because it completes the midfield. Lavia signed on Wednesday and Thuram signed on the Sunday. Well, Thuram, France are out the under-21 Euros today. They lost 2-1 to Ukraine, so Thuram's tournament is over. So he's now free to negotiate any transfer. He doesn't have to worry about games, which is a big thing for us. So hopefully we can speed it up. I do think we're going to face some competition from Newcastle. I really do. I think Newcastle are going to try and push us for Kefren Thuram, but I believe we can get the deal done. And if we get the deal done, it's a really, really, really solid pickup. If we sell Thiago, he'll be a good bench player to bring on and gain control of the game if we're like 2-0 up. Again, though, 220 grand a week for a bench player who gets 20 minutes against Big Six opposition. It's not worth it. I'm sick of us losing players on free transfers. We have lost in the past 2 to 3 seasons Wijnaldum on a free, Origi on a free, Keita, Ox, Firmino, Milner on frees. That's 6 players leaving for free. We're on course to lose both Matip and Thiago for free. We are a self-sustaining club. We need to sell players, so let's sell players. Henderson's never leaving. I would sell Henderson, but no one wants to buy him. I'm not disrespecting him. He's been good for us, but give me a choice Thiago every day, twice on Sunday. Henderson's time's been and gone. That's fine. I'm not disrespecting anything Henderson has done, but it's also not disrespectful to think that he's not good enough now. Klopp thought Thiago would be the genius replacement. We mismanaged Thiago, but that happens in football. I have sympathy for Thiago, but not that much where I'm going to jeopardise long-term future. I remember he got injured before the Champions League final. I remember he got injured before the Carabao Cup final. I remember he wasn't 100% fit for the FA Cup final. He missed Manchester City at home last season. He missed Atletico Madrid at home last season. You can go through a number of big games in Thiago's time at the club and find out how many, tough games, big games he's missed. There's a lot, and it's a concern. I'll play Thiago in the Europa League. Maybe, but it's stupid. Like, he's not going to want to play against NS Miura. I think we get Lavia on Tuesday or Thursday and Thuram on the weekend. Fingers crossed we get both of them by the end of the week. For me, it's more likely Lavia than Thuram because he's a sixth in Premier League, proven we sign either of fullbacks. What do you think? I don't think we go for fullbacks. I really don't think we'll go for fullbacks, but I think Lavia is the target ahead of Thuram at the minute. I think the first one that we get is Lavia. Do you guys remember that when we had a player like Shaqiri on the bench, we went on to win the league? Thiago off the bench. Cameron, Shaqiri made 8 appearances the year we won the league. 8. It weren't like he was an influential figure. He made 8 appearances and got 1 goal. He missed the majority of the season with injury and a fucking hair transplant. So the Shaqiri example probably isn't the best one. 3 mids and Gvardiol or 4 mids with the 4th being Tchouaméni. 3 mids and Gvardiol. Because Gvardiol, even though he's going to City, Gvardiol is an exceptional one. Tchouaméni, I know there's rumours that, Man United and Arsenal. I don't think Real Madrid are going to let him go of Tchouaméni. I really don't. I don't see why they pay that much money and then get rid of him. Do you know any academy player to speak of who might be ready to join the squad? A defending talent would be awesome right now. I believe I had a young English VVD type in the under-19s last season. You know about Jarell Quansah? He was out on loan at Bristol Rovers second half of the season. He got some rave reviews, but I don't think he's ready yet. The only academy centre-back that I think could play a part next year is Sepp van den Berg. I think Van den Berg could play a part next season. You understand your point, Tommy. He's so injury-prone. Needs cash on Thiago. How much would we spend on Colwill? I think we would go 50 to 55. Then Chelsea aren't responding. To get Colwill, you're going to have to pay 70 minimum, in my opinion anyway. How much would you take for Thiago? I would take 40 to 45 million if we had to sell him. That is crazy. We paid 20 million for his injury in the last year of his deal. You give me 15 for Thiago, I'm biting your hand off. Cashing on Matip and Thiago. Thank you. Cheers, computer. Cashing on Matip and Thiago and getting Asio, Lavia and Thuram. That's me being ideal. I don't think Asio is going to happen, to be honest, but I'm a big fan of Asio. I think we have to get Thuram now. We cannot walk out now. We've done the groundwork. We cannot walk out the deal. If there's if the club think there's a better option than Thuram, then walk out the deal. But there is a lot of groundwork done, which is why I think we won't walk out the deal. Do you believe it's Lavia and Thuram or one or the other? I believe it's both. I believe there is a world where we get both. I really, really do. Mate, if we get Lavia and Thuram this moment, do you think we go for fullbacks in Jan? I don't think we go for fullbacks. I think we go for centre-backs. But I'm going to call it there, people. Had a little half-hour news roundup. Lovely little chat with everyone. We'll take Schlotterbeck of BBB. Haven't really watched him. Doesn't really move me. The centre-backs, to be honest, Inacio's one that I want because I've watched a lot of him. Gvardiol's one that I want. Laporte is one that I want. Colwell's one that I want. Like Van der Ven, I don't want Van der Ven. I haven't done as much scouting on my centre-backs yet, so it's not as top, but I want the upper echelon. But I'm going to call it there, people. I think this sound's going to go live now anyway, so go make sure you check out his channel. Give him some support as well. I'm going to love yous, leave yous. I'll be back same time tomorrow for another Liverpool news roundup. If you're new and not already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Let me just check how we are doing so far. 25 like, 13 subs. Smash the people. Love yous, leave yous. In a bit, everyone. In a bit. In a